Okay, so the next part, we're going to go over how this will pan out for all 12 signs. Now, if you do not know what your Vedic sidereal signs are, you're going to go to my website, chart calculator, which is free, and put in your birth information, and it will tell you everything you need to know. Your birth chart, your D9, your Vimshotri Dasha, and it's going to show all of the information, for all of your planets. So you want to pay attention to your ascendant, your moon, and your sun sign for this section. So this is just in general, you know, obviously, everything we've talked about, but this is just a short recap. Basically, when Rahu's in Aquarius for on a personal level, you're going to have breakthroughs in technology, social reform, unconventional thinking. But the challenge is over-identification with radical ideologies or rebellious tendencies. And the advice, innovate wisely, balance progress with ethical considerations. Ketu and Leo, the lesson is humility over pride, service over control. Challenge ego clashes, excessive need for validation, or clinging to past glory. The advice, practice selfless leadership, release attachments to fame and recognition. And karmic reflections, Rahu and Aquarius, are my pursuits truly progressive, or am I blindly following trends? Ketu and Leo, what ego-driven desires must I release to grow spiritually? And practical mantras, charity and mindfulness are advised. And we have our mantras here for each Rahu and Ketu, which, you can do whatever mantras you want, but this is just like the main ones, right? And so we have for Aries, and feel free, you guys, to screenshot this. I am going to move. There we go. So for Aries, Rahu's the 11th, Ketu's in the 5th. And we have, here's the breakdown, right? And I'm just going to read over here. Aries natives will experience Rahu's whirlwind in their 11th house of networks, triggering unexpected alliances with tech visionaries or fringe groups. Between January to February of next year, when Rahu's in Shatabishak, an AI or space-related opportunity may emerge, but scrutinize contracts as Rahu brings hidden clauses. Ketu's transit through Leo's 5th house will force a creative reckoning. A passion project you've poured ego into, a book, startup, or child's career, may abruptly end, teaching detachment. Health-wise, Leo governs the heart, so monitor blood pressure during stressful transits like the Jupiter-Rahu trine, which is August of this year. And spiritually, this is a time to release identity attachments through service. Donate blue blankets to shelters while chanting Om Ram Rahave Namaha on Wednesdays. So this is for Aries. Is there anything you want to add for Aries?
No, it's a pretty good thing. As you mentioned, donate blue blankets to shelters and all that. And you can, of course, keep the chant separate as well. Just do the donation act and all that. So it's fine. If you can chant and donate or chant internally, also fine when you're donating. Just watch out for heart-related issues. That's a big point because Ketu, Leo is a heart region actually. And
Mhm.
definitely a passion project is excellent time and all that. And definitely Rahu in 11th house, usually you have to be cautious of meeting toxic friends and all that. That's a big point to
Mhm.
watch out for network and all that. Watch out for that. If you are not developed a networking, you'll have to you'll force yourself to develop new networking right now. At the same time, be cautious also at the same time becomes very important. Yeah, and great thing for writing, as you mentioned, because third house will have Jupiter also. Excellent point from that
Mhm,
perspective as well. Yeah.
mhm. And while Leo does govern the heart, he also governs the back and also the hair. And so having Aries govern the head, I would say also the head might be in, needing some remedies during the cycle.
Yeah.
Be careful of, headaches or head
Yeah.
injuries or just,
A good point. Yeah.
racing brain syndrome,
Yeah.
might be something to be cautious of.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
And now we have, move that over. Taurus. So Rahu's in your 10th, Ketu is in your 4th. So with Rahu electrifying your 10th house of career, Taurus risings may shock traditionalists by pivoting to avant-garde fields like crypto, drone tech, or psychedelic therapy. Um, Especially during Rahu's Purva Bhadrapada transit, February to March of next year, which sparks. I'm sorry, that was actually a mistake. That was supposed to be this for this year. But when he starts the journey, could spark sudden publicity. K2's burn through your 4th house of home will dissolve ancestral baggage. Expect property disputes, a family elder's passing, or an urge to sell heirlooms. This clears space for emotional rebirth. Relationships will walk a tightrope. Rahu could attract a brilliant but erratic partner, a scientist or activist, because, we still have Uranus and Taurus, while K2 forces resolution of childhood abandonment fears. Health requires spine care. I'm not sure why I have Leo here. Um, Try acupuncture during K2's Maga transit. Oh, right, Leo, K2, obviously. Um, Try acupuncture during K2's Maga transit, and then spiritually plant a peepal tree or perform homam, which is homa therapy, fire therapy. Agnihotra. I love Agnihotra, and this would be something that would be really good for everybody, actually. I do have some videos on TikTok about it. If you have any questions, you can just send me a message. But Agnihotra is an excellent way, I think, for all of us during K2 and Leo, you know, to really set our boundaries, honor the environment around us as well as our ancestors. So, do you have anything you want to say about this?
Yeah, the Ketu in the fourth house definitely a tendency to move away from family, changing a house, residence kind of things can also happen. So that's one aspect. The other thing I would also say, yeah, there's a lot of crow on the background. Well, definitely one thing I would encourage also is that Shani will be in the 11th house actually. So these natives are, but there's a good chance that they could make a lot of money also. Like a lot of
Mm,
hard work and financial gains can also come from that perspective. The other aspect here is also definitely the Rahu thing which you mentioned in terms of trying something new with your career, adding a technology component, trying out some new kind of fields kind of thing, which is way out there kind of thing could play out. The other aspect is that of a people tree remedy is a very good remedy. All that is great. Fire ritual is pretty good if you can slowly get into it. Even meditating with the fire is a starting point. Slowly, you can try to explore the Homam procedure slowly with regularity. It might also help you out a lot in terms of clearing out some karma. Right now in Ketu's in Ketu, it's famously recommended to Ganapati. Ganapati is famously called as Homa Priya. He likes fire rituals. So doing any kind of Ganapati kind of rituals is something I would encourage from a fire ritual perspective. It could at least in this as long as Ketu's and Leo doing it on a regular basis, once a week or once a month kind of thing as well. You can see a lot of things improving on that front. That's something I can recommend also.
hmm hmm Excellent. Okay, Gemini. So for you, Rahu's in your 9th, K2 is in your 3rd. Um, and we have Gemini risings will have their belief systems upended. as Rahu storms the ninth house of philosophy. A guru or mentor, a professional spiritual guide or boss may be exposed for hypocrisy during Rahu's Shatabhishak transit. Don't pay attention to these dates here. Uh, pushing you toward fringe sciences like quantum metaphysics. Ketu's transit through Leo's third house will sever toxic sibling or neighbor ties. A long-standing communication block, a feud over inheritance or gossip will finally resolve. Love life could take an eat, pray, love turn. Rahu may spark an affair with someone from a radically different culture, a foreign hacker or an anarchist artist type. Health demands nervous system support. Limit screen time and try ashwagandha, as well as obviously, pranayama breath is always good for Gemini. Out of everybody, y'all need to be doing it the most. And then spiritually, Geminis love intellectual things. So if you're into astrology, really getting into the Brihat Parasha Horasastra and wear emerald to stabilize Mercury's chaos. So anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, definitely the karma with gurus is an actual thing. So just make sure you are definitely not falling for false gurus kind of thing as well during this time. Just approach it with neutrality, approach things in a balanced manner. That will help out a lot, both on the belief side of things and also on the what is driving your thought process kind of things actually. Ketu in third house can separate you from neighbors actually. So just watch out for past issues coming from neighbors coming and make sure you are having a big picture view of things and so forth and all that. As was mentioned, definitely the affair with someone or having a what do you call it relationship kind of karma could with a foreigner kind of thing is fascinating here. You do have Jupiter transiting with Gemini, which is the sound lord of from the Jupiter as the ascendant. So, and that Jupiter will be aspecting Rahu. So there might be potentially, even though it might not be exactly one different possibility like affair with a radically different culture person, there could be possibility of traveling to foreign lands with your partner as well. So that kind of thing could also play out, and being exposed to a different kind of culture kind of thing could also play out right now. Nervous system thing is a very good point. Jupiter definitely calm down the media involvement. Gemini natives tend to scatter their energies too soon, so they do need some grounding. So that's something I would really encourage a lot during
Mm-hmm,
this time.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And definitely the remedies. Reading the classics is an excellent thing to do, whether it's astrology, whether it's like any kind of philosophical text which is more ancient, which is more older or something, I would recommend. If you have been wanting to get back to that old book which you never got back to and all that, excellent time. And if you have bought books and never completed them, good time period to restart those kind of books and finish them also. All that also I can encourage.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and definitely when Mars is conjunct K2, which is like I think July, August,
Yeah.
that's I think when you got to be real careful of this third house,
Right. Yeah.
sibling. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Mars
Yeah.
Ketu, that anger thing could come out. Make sure you're not exploding. Make sure you're not doing bungee jumping and all that in that time period. Take it
Hmm.
easy, that kind of thing for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, just knowing that it's coming, it just, cool off. Okay, Cancer. So Rahu's in your eighth, K2 is in your second. So we have for Cancer risings, Rahu's transit through your eighth house will awaken latent psychic abilities or draw you toward taboo fields like death, doula work, which, I mean, if you're a nurse, it would be hospice work, right? AI ethics or forensic science, especially when Rahu crosses Purva Bhadrapada. Don't pay attention to the dates. Pay attention to the slide I did in the beginning. A nakshatra tied to cosmic secrets, unexpected inheritances, or insurance payouts may arrive, but scrutinize fine print. K2's burn through your second house of self worth will force you to release toxic money narratives like people pleasing for financial security or the belief that you never have enough, right? That is an issue for Cancer. A past life speech impediment, being silenced in a royal court, may resurface as throat issues or dental pain. Try oil pulling with coconut oil. Relationships will be intense. Rahu could attract a mysterious partner, possibly, different from, your normal community, while K2 dissolves relationships based on material exchange. Because, Rahu, because the ruler of the seventh house for Cancer is Saturn, right? And so Saturn also rules Aquarius. So having Rahu there is going to really influence relationships. And then spiritually, feed black dogs and practice nyasa or energy healing on your throat chakra.
Yeah, so here with Rahu in the eighth house, definitely unearthing something, deep secrets, hidden talents, as you mentioned, interest in deep occult work, and all that could come forth. Rahu is the addictions also. That's why just be cautious of the taboo kind of thing as well. So just be cautious of addicted to something like alcohol, drugs, psychedelics, and all that. Turns out it's finally an addiction, not really doing what I intended to do. Just watch out for all that particular aspect.
Mhm.
The thing I want to highlight here, the dead doula kind of thing is an interesting thing. There could be having to deal with inheritance or having to deal with inherited properties, things like that, that kind of karma. Insurance payout, as you mentioned, could also play out, but then watch out that you're not getting scammed into it, right? You got a big inheritance suddenly out of nowhere, then you invest into something, the return is not as you expected and all that. That kind of thing you should really be cautious actually. Now, what is great, as you mentioned, is that people placing for financial security kind of aspect is something cancer natives will have to. Just me, definitely be cautious in general. So, of course, they do have a sun being a second law. They are fairly independent when it comes to money, actually. Our Ketu and Leo make sure you're not headlessly spending your money or not, you're kind of making ego driven kind of money based decision, which is not that great. So, just watch out for that as well. The other thing with possibly impediment is very interesting because throat issues is fascinating. But second house of speech can get impacted here. So Ketu being second house, make sure you're not becoming headless with your speech. That's an
Mhm.
interesting thing. Relationship karma is potentially interesting here. Ketu dissolves relationship based on mutilation. So Ketu can definitely, Rahu, as you highlighted, Rahu will be impacting Shani as well. Shani is the seventh lord and the eighth lord for Cancer natives. So they do have challenges in the relationship front showing up for the next 3 years, actually, not just this year kind of thing. Because Rahu will be transiting over Aquarius and Shani kind of thing over the next couple of years. So, if any transformation, any change needs to happen in relationship, right about now is when that would begin. But more importantly, this is also a very important thing that you kind of need to make sure you're not falling into affairs kind of thing to break an already good marriage or decent marriage that you have. Now, it's a marriage energy should be balanced anyways. So if that is not in balance right now, the right now is when that need to bring it to balance kind of thing will come into place. If it's not balanced, then you have definitely it might not be long term thing for you as well. But Cancer resident will have to face their fears, which is a big thing here actually.
Mm.
Practicing nyasa for throat chakra healing is interesting thing. Especially feeding dogs is good because Ketu is in second house. And that's a decent remedy. All the remedies can work out. Whatever, even though the other remedies which was mentioned previously can work out for all the ascendants. Doesn't matter what you are doing. Feeding black dogs is good for all the ascendants also. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, all that's always good. So this is one of the different remedies which cancer natives can definitely look into. That's one thing I
Mm.
would encourage. And one other thing I want to highlight here, oil pulling is a very good thing to target if you can do that. Oil pulling for improving your, dental thing and all that is an excellent thing because a lot of teeth related issues will definitely happen over the next couple of years. Good to work on that. Teeth is something, it's like
Hmm.
one of those things you realize when you actually need a tooth kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's one of those.
exactly. And also, second house food,
Yeah,
food allergies are seen with K2 in the second house. And so
yeah,
you might discover during this time you have food allergies you didn't know about.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That could be a good point as well. Yes.
All right, so Leo, you have Rahu in the seventh and Ketu in the first. So Leo risings will experience a profound identity shift as Ketu incinerates your first house of self-image. You may quit a high-status job, shave your head, or abandon a long-held persona, the perfect parent or the alpha leader. Rahu in your seventh house will attract radical partners, possibly polyamorous, much younger, older, or from tech anarchist circles who marry your shadow. Um, yeah, so when K2 is in Maga, there could be a family legacy, business, or reputation may collapse, freeing you from ancestral burdens. Health requires back care. Try acupuncture during Saturn's Pisces retrograde, June to November of next year, and then spiritually perform Surya Namaskar at dawn and donate gold to temples to honor Ketu's purification.
Yeah, the one thing I'll definitely say with Leo native, these are the natives who will feel the brunt of the eclipses in general. Their lives have been quiet for the past couple of years. Right now, this year, next year will be big shift for them. Big changes expected. If you have been linked with the company for a long time, you may change the job or you might quit the job. Um, Now, the polyamorous thing is very true. Rahu in the seventh house can attract partners, but then you need not fall for it. It's just an attraction thing. You just attract people around you, and you need not actually follow through that thing as well. Could be like older people, or could be people are wildly different from you. But again, you need not follow through that thing and break your marriage or break your existing relationship also if you have a good thing going on. But just
Right.
that attraction thing, and actually someone wildly different could come your way and during that time period. Definitely the family legacy thing and all that you'll have to make sure you're honoring the ancestors. Remember, anytime a planet is going over a particular thing, if you're experiencing problems with that placement, that energies were not built up or improved upon significantly over time. You're not doing a daily thing. You're not honoring the ancestors regularly. That's when any planetary transits creates a problem. It's like giving back your karma back to you. That's an easier way to look at transits actually. If you have built up the energy over a period of time, then Ketu and Maga could be blessings of ancestors. So similar to that. So that's one more win thing to keep in mind. So that's why we have to work on improving our energies overall, regularly. That helps out a lot. And again, this remedy of Surya Namaskar and donating gold is always anyone can do it. It's an excellent thing to do, no matter what placement you have. But definitely, Leo natives, if they do this, they can get a lot more good blessings without doubt. Definitely, I can. Sunlight therapy is an excellent thing. We never realize how much time we spend indoors. Just spending 20 minutes outside, walking by, and all that gives a big boost to our health also. So, excellent thing for Leo natives for sure.
Right. Okay, Virgo. So for you, Rahu's in the sixth, K2 is in the 12th. So Virgo risings will face Rahu's chaos in your sixth house of routine as AI or automation upends your job. Accountants replaced by blockchain, doctors by AI diagnostics, therapists as well. Embrace telehealth or robotics to stay relevant. Uh, K2's transit through your 12th house will dissolve spiritual complacency. A guru or practice that once comforted you may suddenly feel hollow, pushing you toward solitary mysticism or past life recall. Health demands immune support. Leo rules the thymus, so try adaptogens like reishi. Relationships may involve caring for a sick partner or bonding through service, volunteering together. And spiritually, Volunteer at hospitals and journal dreams. Ketu in Leo's 12th house can unveil royal past lives or, ancestors that were royalty. You know, I mean, we got to be real careful, I think, of always assuming that what we're seeing is our past life. It might be our ancestors, and we just have that memory in our blood.
Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely, these Virgo natives will have to embrace technology or learn to work with technology. That will help them out a lot to stay relevant, as you said. Rahu in the sixth house, great to face your enemies, as it's called. So, good time. It's like if you want to bring someone down at your workplace and all that, that's great. But great time for competition. Good chance. One of the things they say is that if you have a competition, the competing person will actually be brought down very easily when you are Rahu in the sixth house. Like they themselves bring themselves down. They'll do something and that'll bring them down. Is what they usually say. Good to focus on health for sure, definitely. Definitely caring for a sick partner. Shani will be in the seventh house. You'll have to be there for your partner. That kind of activity can come without doubt. So that's also one big thing that will play out for sure. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Um, yeah, I think a lot of, and especially paying attention to your dreams for insight into your own health, I think
Yeah.
is going to be something that is important as well. Okay, we have Libra, Rahu in the fifth, Ketu in the 11th. Libra risings or moon or sun will channel Rahu's genius in your fifth house of creativity, possibly birthing avant-garde art, NFT poetry, AI generated music, or just, your own genius. Or rebellious children who challenge norms. K2's burn through your 11th house will purge superficial friendships. Expect a friend divorce with someone you've outgrown, especially during K2's Purva Falguni transit, and attracting new spiritual friends. Love will be theatrical. Rahu could spark a romance with a gender fluid artist or hacker, while K2 forces you to release codependent networks. Health requires heart care, Leo's domain. So wear rose quartz and practice heart coherence breathing, and spiritually create art as meditation and chant Om Shukraya Namaha on Fridays.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think the Rahu being in the fifth house kind of thing, just make sure you're not falling for someone who is not that great as well. Whether they are gender fluid artists and all that. So all that, just be more cautious on that front. Friend was kind of it's interesting because you definitely will might be attracting new spiritual friends, or you're beginning to see what is the worth of your friends and all that. Are they demeaning you? Are they bringing you down, or are they raising you up? So those are the people you want to surround yourself with. That's one aspect. Rebellious, definitely excellent time for period for creativity for Libra natives. So I can really encourage that. Whether it's art therapy or whether it's like focusing on radical self-expression kind of thing. You finally want to launch a YouTube channel. Now's the time for that kind of thing. I can really encourage for sure. Yeah,
Mm-hmm,
or a
mm-hmm,
TikTok thing or something, right? All that excellent time will do. Explore that as an option. Whatever ways you feel like doing it might be good for you to just get some relaxing thing and a creativity thing. We don't spend time on creative endeavors as much as required. To be frank, like we encourage the logical left brain thinking. The moment you spend time on developing your creativity, suddenly you find it's improving all aspects of life. It's one of those things like it's a humanity thing. It's a human species thing actually. The more time you spend on creative endeavors, you'll see like music and any other expressions. It actually improves other aspects of your being. It's like a very powerful mental healing kind of thing, a therapy kind of thing that happens with that also. So I can really encourage that for these natives in a big way, for sure.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. And foreigners too, Rahu foreigners in the fifth, you could be inspired by somebody
Yeah.
from a
Mhm.
different culture.
Yeah.
Um, and then also, children are really taking off. The genius, I think that's going to be big.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Scorpio. So for you, Rahu's in the fourth, Ketu's in the 10th. And Scorpio risings will transform their roots as Rahu electrifies your fourth house. You may convert homes into crypto farms, for instance, host radical salons, or suddenly relocate to a commune or, community where, you know, you have like-minded people that are doing, you know, something you're interested in. K2's demolition of your 10th house will topple career identities. A prestigious title may feel meaningless, urging you toward soul aligned work, especially during K2's Maga transit. Relationships will confront power dynamics. Rahu could attract a roommate with ulterior motives, while K2 exposes a boss's corruption. Health requires womb or prostate care. Try yoni streams or castor oil packs. So reproductive health is going to be big for Scorpio because I mean it rules the reproductive system, but especially during this time. Spiritually, light camphor to clear ancestral trauma and recite Kali mantras at midnight, which I mean is good for Scorpio anyway, but especially with Rahu in the fourth, I feel like their happiness is going to be really jeopardized. They could have really, disturbed mental health. And so they've got to really stay grounded.
Yeah, so it's a good point. Scorpio definitely they have to go through a lot of healing anyways, so it's a challenging sign in general. I definitely keep this in mind. This is the Vedic sign, just not the Western sign which you put Sun in Libra and all that. But the Vedic Scorpio, Sun in Scorpio or Moon in Scorpio and Scorpio ascendants as well. This becomes a big thing. Anytime Rahu Ketu transits the Kendra signs, it's always important for those natives. So that's one thing. Rahu in the fourth house again, challenges with your mother, family, for sure. Watch out for that. The need to relocate, which could also become relevant here. The other aspect with here also is that Rahu in the fourth house, something make sure you're not inviting negative energy to your home. That's one way I want to just say. It's a real potential. There could be like you're inviting someone who should not have been invited to your home and they're creating chaos and so forth, that kind of thing, right? You don't want to invite chaos energy as it's called. So that's also something to keep in mind. Some cases I've seen you invite some relative or whatnot, they just create drama and leave, right? So that kind of thing. Or invite a friend who's more drama than what you expected, stuff like that. The other thing also is that usually with um, the health thing is interesting actually. I would definitely add the heart health here as well. Heart health is a normal thing with Leo, but they definitely watch out for heart health. Make sure there is no lung health and all that. Definitely make sure you're not ignoring that aspect. Lighting camphor is good no matter what. Kali mantras at midnight is a very good thing to do regularly if it's possible, to be frank, because she's like the goddess who can protect you much more strongly and chants very simple mantra like Om Bhadrakaliye Namaha regularly kind of thing. Very easy way to improve the energies. At least if you're feeling there's some entity or whatnot, if you do Kali mantras, that energy will calm down. Then you can just take an easy with that mantras also. Something I would encourage from that perspective. It's a very easy thing, but try to target that. Usually around the fourth house, the is when you have to deal with unexpected problems in your home, like the plumbing breaks down, or like the water thing is happening, the AC is not working, or the whatever, right? All that kind of water issues you have to watch out for, you have to handle that.
Right,
That can be a real actually, yeah.
right, right, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time it's like the cooling system issues actually, and the water related issues is usually what happens actually. So just make sure those are in piping and heating and all that, right? That kind of thing. So recently, I think when the big storms hit Texas, like a lot of Texas homes are not prepared for the cold weather and all that. Now they are like being forced because of climate change to really upgrade their heating system. Actually, like, a lot of people were not prepared. So stuff like that you'll have to watch out. Actually, that might really become a thing for you later this year and all that. So if you feel like last winter it was a problem, you had to upgrade the system, you might have to upgrade your heating. That kind of thing you'll have to deal with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's also like a career thing. Just
Yep.
Scorpio might have a big job cheating also going on. because the boss might not be great, or boss being egoistic and all that. That's also one more place that could play out. Or they decide to move to a new location because they have to get a new job. Either of these
Right.
two things can also happen.
Right. Yeah, Rahu in the fourth moving is not going to help with the career, but it might help eventually. I mean, it might be something where they need to let go of something in order to gain,
Right, yeah.
you know, move in order to gain a better position.
Yeah.
Okay, so for Sag, Rahu's in your third, Ketu is in your ninth. So Sagittarius, risings, moon, or sun will become mouthpieces for revolution as Rahu amplifies your third house of communication. Expect viral fame from a controversial speech or documentary, especially during Dhanishta's transit next year. K2's burn through your ninth house will shatter dogmas. A spiritual leader or academic theory you revered may collapse, pushing you toward heresy or fringe philosophies. Relationships may involve a karmic sibling reunion or a love affair with a journalist or activist type. Um, Health demands lung care. Leo rules the heart-lung axis, so practice the Kapalabhati pranayama. And spiritually, pilgrimage to mountains and chant the Hanuman Chalisa for courage.
Yeah, I think the pilgrimage to a mountain part is pretty good for Saturn natives. Anything on that front can be pretty good for them. The health demands, as you mentioned, too. The pranayam is something anyone can do. Kapalbhati is also a good one to do regularly, especially if you have lung issues and all that, just to bring out healing. Affair with the journalist again, affair like you might begin to interact with a journalist who might potentially capture your mind or something like that, talking to someone else who's kind of wildly different from you. But just be cautious also at the same time. Again, don't ruin your good marriage, don't ruin your good relationship. Or if you are in a bad relationship or something, nothing is going on, great. All that is fine. That can you watch out for that also. Ketu 9th house is really a chance where you might feel disillusioned with the spiritual leader. It's an actual interesting thing because one of the things that could play out is that you are feeling detached or separated from your spirituality or your purpose in life, or your deeper goals and all that good is something you have to watch out. Viral fame is interesting, so try to make sure you're not saying something controversial in group settings actually. Like you are in a conference or you're in a gathering of friends and you decide to share something shocking or whatnot, right? So don't go forward with that.
Mm-hmm.
So just be more alert on that front because
Right.
quickly it could and suddenly a lot of people look down upon what you just shared and all that, that kind of thing. It's one of
Right.
those things like like you know you are going to anti-Trump place and you speak positive about Trump, or you go to a pro-Trump place and you speak negatively about Trump. Whatever, right? Those kind of variations you'll have to work with. So things like that actually. So round third house could be like literally the real thing with communication. And then most of the time, your bad speech is what is making you famous, that kind of thing. And sometimes these are cases where you write something on social media and that becomes viral or stuff like that. You tweet something out or you make a TikTok post and it's like a literally a lot of people are watching. Stuff like that can also happen in this time period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Sagittarius already has that tendency to be
Yeah.
gregarious and kind of,
They do want to fight a war whenever they get a chance, so it's an actual thing. So it's a war sign. So they'll have to be make sure you're not creating unnecessary wars, right? That's a different kind of problem. Yeah.
yeah. And third house really, I mean, it's more about writing. I mean, yes, it's,
Yeah.
communication, but second house is more speech and
Yeah.
third house is more writing. So especially if you're
Yeah.
in any kind of academic setting, you got to be careful this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And also loss of the father. If your father's still around, this might be a
Yeah.
time when um, he could start to fail.
Yeah.
Okay, Capricorn. So Rahu's in the second, Ketu's in the eighth. So Capricorn risings will redefine values as Rahu invades your second house of wealth. You may profit from voice AI, cryptocurrency, or unorthodox investments, but avoid get rich quick schemes during Rahu's retrograde. And I will also say, you especially, Capricorn, got to be careful of what you say, you know. K2's purge of your eighth house could dissolve toxic debts, such as a manipulative business partner or unearth family secrets, especially during K2's Purva Falguni transit. Um, Relationships will merge money and mysticism. A partner may share occult knowledge or inherit sudden wealth. Health requires knee care. Try Tai Chi or glucosamine supplements. Spiritually donate rice to elders and chant Om Sham Shanaishara Namaha on Saturdays. And I would say, with K2 in the eighth, you could definitely be having like really, um, mystical experiences as well, especially concerning like near death or out of body experiences. You could be having like UFO, ET encounters, seeing orbs, like all of that stuff for Capricorn is very possible for this cycle.
Yeah, so good things which you mentioned here for sure is the Tai Chi bit. I cannot recommend that enough. Excellent time period to it's an overall remedy for anyone with Ketu and Leo. Leo is ruled by Sun, which is the eastern direction as well. So connecting with the energetic sciences of China, which is Tai Chi, is excellent in many fronts. Tai Chi, of course, is like a starting point of the Chinese spiritual practice, like Chinese yoga of sorts. Like you have the Tai Chi, then you have Qigong, then you have Neigong. There's like a lot of levels to it as well. So all that I would encourage. Anything Eastern, anything Chinese thing and all that, or even with this yoga also, all that if you're not started that, excellent thing to do. Excellent thing to do. Tai Chi for sure is excellent for health. So usually you find Chinese longevity, a lot of old people in China still living healthy. They maintain their skin also with Tai Chi. All that is great actually. So that I can encourage. Tai Chi is a big, big thing. Rice donation, all that is great. Om Sham Shanishwaraya Nama. Excellent mantra for Saturdays to do. Definitely try the supplements and all that, which is good. Usually definitely the Ketu in the eighth house, you have to you might definitely have karma with the inheritance thing and all that also. And definitely what I would advise also on that front is make sure you're not headlessly spending that or investing to get rich quick schemes or something like that. Also, toxic debts is kind of interesting. Or unknown family secrets could also play out. You might be finding something ancient about your ancestors, old history about your ancestors, all that kind of thing will also play out. And Rahu in the second house definitely you're forced to think about wealth differently. Maybe, yeah, as you correctly said, about get rich quick schemes here also. Just make sure you're not falling for them. Rahu being in second house also makes you want to spend a lot more money on, uh, you know, um, lot more money on food and all that. So Rahu is also
Mm-hmm.
in food. It's a standard placement where you might potentially come across people who are selling you drugs or consuming drugs and all that. Rahu in
Mm.
the second house, make sure you're not drinking alcohol, make sure you're not getting drugs and all that and so forth. Of course, nowadays there's a big trend of mushrooms or whatever, right? Microdosing, psychedelics and all that. Of course, the Vedic astrology people don't, Jyotisha people or yoga people also don't, actual yoga people don't focus on that. It's a new thing, new fad kind of thing. You never know how long it's a good thing also. So I would be cautious
Well,
about those kind of,
I will say though
right?
that fad did start in the 60s, and that was one of the, I mean, 69 to 71, that was,
Yeah,
psychedelics were real big then too. So that you
yeah.
see that theme carrying over.
Of course, let others do it. I would not encourage you to bring yourself down. Quite often, these come with, it's a Rahu thing. It can bring you down very quickly as well. It could be a temporary high also.
Well,
So all that
I,
thing,
I would
right?
say though that I think um there's a lot of medical information now about ayahuasca, mushrooms, LSD actually being breakthrough therapy for mental health, especially people
Yeah,
that have severe PTSD.
Uh-huh.
They're actually documenting, the research that, these drugs aren't like party drugs. They're actually incredible healing devices that we just need to
Yeah,
learn how to use. And I think during this cycle, there'll be a lot more practical uses of them because,
yeah,
when you're doing it in a medical way, you want to have a controlled environment, you know?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a more important point. Make sure it's being done in a controlled fashion, preferably in a medical, more conservative way.
Hmm.
The challenge is that a lot of shamans are out there who, you know, who just want your money and who might even sexually abuse you as well. So just watch out for
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And when you come across the microdosing crowd, though they claim incredible, again, depends upon whom you deal with and all that. Usually, it might be beneficial for some, but it could be very, if you have other issues going on, you will really have to be cautious as well. In general, caution is
Yes.
always advised against these kind of things, like because one of the things that happens is that sometimes you might rely upon them from an addiction perspective. It's like turns out it's like another addiction thing you're developing and all that also. Just watch out for all that. Key
Right.
important thing is that definitely in knowledge of herbs and all that can be used, but then if you are not able to function in a social way, if you're not able to contribute yourself to the society, that's also then it's not helping you also. So you have to be realistic about what is happening at the same time. So addictions do bring you down, and because you're not fully utilizing your potential at the same time. But at the same time, PTSD healing done in a controlled setting, great. But if you are actually having challenges with the work, because this could be a real thing. I've
Mhm.
seen, I heard both sides of stories actually, like whether one case, native going through a psychic surgery of sorts in some Amazonian forest and curing a cancer and all that. But the other case was like that of like literally, normal a fake shaman, like utilizing your um, uh, unconscious state and just basically literally like sexually traumatizing you further. Actually, so all that drama also you'll have to watch out. So just be cautious
Mhm.
is what I would really
Mhm.
encourage, because Rahu being in second house, you don't want to be peer pressured into or like fall into the pressure of some friends
Mhm.
and literally like you lost a lot of money away. You realize you're being downgrading your own values and so not
Mhm.
great and that. So just be cautious actually. But that's why long-term things like Tai Chi and all is highly recommended because you're improving your energy over a long time, actually. Like that.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, Aquarius. So Rahu is in your first house and Ketu is in your seventh. Various risings will undergo an identity revolution as Rahu storms your first house. You may adopt a radical look, such as cyberpunk fashion or gender neutral pronouns, which, you know, DEI has now been, not outlawed, but I mean, it's been dismantled here in the US. So I think a lot of those things will be questioned during this time for Aquarians, or publicly embrace a stigmatized label, alien contact. Well, an alien contactee or experiencer, is really the word that we like to use as well. Um, K2's burn through your seventh house will test business or marital partnerships. A power struggle may culminate in a legal win, especially during K2's Magad transit, July, August, um, of next year, but also when K2 and Mars are conjunct this year, July and August as well. Relationships demand self love first. Avoid codependent mergers. Health requires anxiety management. Try ashwagandha and blue light blockers. Spiritually, meditate under open sky and perform Rahu homotherapy fire ritual with black sesame. Um, yeah, I mean, Agnihotra in general is going to be good for everybody, but I think with K2 of the seventh, Aquarians, they love to have different friendships, different partnerships, and so they're going to be challenged this year because I think a lot of people that they thought were their friends or people that they trusted are going to leave. Um, So yeah.
Yeah, so Aquarius natives definitely are the other sign that will go through a big change in their life with Rahu being on the Lagna, just like Leo natives with Ketu on the Lagna. That's a big identity thing. So whatever you did in the past 5, 10 years, or even 8 years kind of thing, you will go through a big shift of sorts right now. A big change can come in that way. Rahu in the Lagna is big that. Cyberpunk and all that is pretty interesting. Definitely the stigmatized label kind of thing. Rahu and the Lagna can make you do things that is out of the norm, out of the normal society, being different and all that can also play out. So Ketu in the South is not an easy time, but from a marital partnership perspective, however, at the same time, you kind of need to make sure, like, if the things are not working, that has to go out also, that kind of thing. Business partnership can have some challenges. You'll have to watch out for that, especially if it's like an ego thing going on and all that. The self-love, yeah, the Rahu Ketu and the 1/7 natives have a real challenge with the self-love issue and being in codependent relationship kind of thing. Like they are in a relationship for their partners rather than for themselves, that kind of thing. So you'll have to really watch out for that. So that's a real thing for these natives to make sure that karma is being stabilized and all that, or they're approaching it from a stable place. Anxiety management is an excellent thing. So definitely anxiety and blue light blocker and all that's great. Meditating upon the open sky is an excellent, excellent remedy for the entire Rahu and Aquarius thing. Just look up at the sky, look at a big sky. That can give a lot of peace, actually. Famously, they say Rahu is linked with space. So the great, good side about meditating on space or looking into space kind of thing a little more, it kind of calms you down, gives you like a big picture view of things and so forth. You develop that big picture view of your life. Slowly, then anxiety and all that begins to calm down. I would definitely encourage. Self-love focus a little bit more here actually, but then at the same time, um, self-love has to be balanced with what you can give to the world actually. So that's also one more important thing. So trying to identify that balance. So when you do what you want to do, how can that express itself to the world, making yourself valuable to the world, right? The more you are able to give to the world of yourself, the more the world will also will be able to give you in return as well. So that's the other important thing. So it's a powerful time period to go through all that focus kind of thing right now. Now, great thing about Aquarius natives that they had Saturn on their ascendant for the last couple of years. Now it's finally coming down for them. So that's great. So they were probably overstressed, overworking, and all that. Now they are able to speak what is required and all that rather than go through the stress themselves. So all that kind of thing actually. So it's an excellent time period for Aquarius natives in terms of a lot of changes and transformation and all that. And Rahu is considered to be called out of Aquarius. In many ways, this can give an additional boost for them, boost for their recognition, identity, and all that, and so forth. Rahu can be linked with mystical knowledge also. Something I want to highlight because Jupiter will be aspecting Rahu actually for these natives as well. So they can definitely be getting into mystical knowledge in a very direct way right now. And finally, they are going on a shamanic journey. Finally, they are learning some spiritual practice like Jyotish or healing thing and all that. All that kind of thing will also play out right now very, very strongly.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I think, this will be a productive time for Aquarius with Saturn finally in their second house and helping them to work and make money, and Rahu really pushing them forward. Um, yeah, it hasn't been easy with Saturn in their first house. Okay, and Pisces, the drama queen with all the planets. Right now, we have all these planets in Pisces, so it's just like so much going on with Pisces people. So now with the shift, Rahu will be in the 12th and Ketu will be in the 6th. So Pisces risings will confront subconscious shadows as Rahu invades your 12th house. A hidden enemy, such as a backstabbing healer or tech spy type person, somebody who's spying on you, right, may emerge, especially during Rahu's Shatabishak transit. Ketu's purge of your 6th house will streamline work. Outdated systems or toxic colleagues vanish, forcing efficiency, but also Pisces, be careful of your health because with Ketu there, it's going to weaken you and expose, some things maybe in your DNA that you didn't know about. Um, and then relationships may spark in hospitals or retreats, while Ketu ends health draining routines. Health requires sleep repair. Try Epsom salt baths and melatonin. Spiritually, donate water to pilgrims and chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya for Neptune's grace. It's not just for Neptune, but I feel like it's, something where Pisces, are going to really have to focus on their flow for this year. And Rahu in the 12th, they're already, super psychic, but with Rahu in the 12th, I feel like dreams are going to be out of this world. Also, UFO, ET type um, dreams or out of body experiences could be common with this as well. Um, and K2 in the sixth, yeah, you're gonna be, toxic colleagues vanish, but maybe these were, karmic relationships that you needed to work through. And so finally with K2 here, you're able to release them.
Yeah, so the Pisces natives really have to, like, they really had it going recently for sure. This past eclipse would have been pretty intense for them, and Shani Rahu Pisces conjunction also happened. They're going through a lot. Now, the good side about Rahu in the 12th, as you correctly mentioned, like as BP just quote here, awakens past life gifts. So something you did in the past can show up right now. It can be a very powerful opportunity for you to restart something which you were kind of exposed to in in this lifetime actually. Something from your past you can work on it again, that kind of thing. Great for foreign land travel, great for visiting ashrams and retreats and all that, that kind of thing for sure. Excellent time to take a break, excellent time to go for vacation, go to like a seaside place, spend some time by the beach, all that kind of thing. Something I can recommend. Ketu in the sixth house can definitely make you become hypercritical with regard to your colleagues and your efficiency also. Ketu is a perfectionist planet, so just make sure you're not falling for that. As long as you're having a big picture view and all that, you're not focusing the dots and the eyes and looking at the sentence kind of thing, right? So that kind of thing is good. So just have that particular focus going on. Rahu is in 12th house for sure. So hospitals or retreats is the usual thing. Ketu in the sixth house is great for health though. Like you might begin to focus on when old ways of connecting with the health, reconnect with the herbalism, reconnect with like spiritual practices, which is ancient. Look at what your ancestors did from a work-life routine practice. You might finally go on that carnivore diet or whatnot, right? All that kind of thing might potentially happen. Ketogenic diet and all that, that kind of thing. And then you have health request, sleep repair. Yeah, sleep is a big thing for Pisces natives. Usually, I've seen they might have karmas around sleep in general. So either they're not able to sleep well, they have issues with sleep. That's been going on for some time. So sleep is a big thing. If you're feeling a lot of stress-related issues coming from sleep and all that, definitely watch out for that. Also, like melatonin, Epsom salt baths is always good to have regularly. And great to donate water to pilgrims. Now, of course, nowadays it's like doesn't make sense, but then I don't think towards pilgrimage courses and all that is pretty good thing to have. Something I've seen in
I would
general, even
say
when you're traveling.
refugees too, refugees and
Yeah,
pilgrims.
definitely refugees and pilgrims. Like even if you were going on a hike and you just gifted someone a glass, like a water or something, right? Something like that is also a pretty good thing to do actually. So all that kind of things can be done. Just being more humanitarian in general, but when you're on a traveling purpose or especially when you're going visiting some sacred sites kind of thing as well. The
Right.
Neptune's grace is very good for connecting with the ocean rituals actually. Rahu being in Satabisha, a lot of good rituals to do in the ocean can actually come from. So that's something I can really encourage actually, something to keep an eye out for sure.
Hmm.
One thing I want to highlight here is that Rahu in the 12th house can make you visit a hospital. For some reason or the other, you might visit a hospital actually. Just get some lab tests or whatnot is the usual thing. That's something I've seen. And definitely the water charity kind of thing is excellent thing to do right now, especially towards anywhere in the world, like whether it's Africa, whether it's Palestine or whatnot, whatever it be, that kind of thing I would encourage. The other thing with Neptune thing is very interesting. I would really encourage to explore ocean as a healing opportunity. It's not Rahu and Pisces definitely have that opportunity there. there are some very famous oceans which are famous for healing actually. Apparently, they do say there are legends of certain pools of completely healing water, like legend of there's a famous legend of the fountain of youth. Apparently, that was linked with one of the ocean sites. Apparently, which is very wild. So it makes you think like, how can you just spending time in the ocean make you youthful? But there's apparently a lot of hidden secrets there actually. Something to keep in mind and work through. If you think about it, ocean is salty, and Saturn is linked with salt, and Saturn is also linked with longevity. So there might be a hidden link when you spend more time by the ocean, when you go at least have a regular vacation thing going on like that, and so forth. I would really
Right.
encourage that. So that's something to explore for sure. So definitely try to explore the ocean thing. Definitely try to visit some ocean sites and so forth. Is something I would highly encourage. That'll be great for Pisces native anyway. Pisces are definitely the ocean anyway. Right now, Rahu in the 12th house also. Excellent time period to target that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this
And
is a good thing. Go ahead.
and with Shani there, also obviously doing your Shani mantras, because if your moon's in Pisces, you're right in the middle of your Sati Sati. So, you know, you really got to pay attention to Shani being right in your first house.
Yeah, that's a good point. Saraswati, so all the remedies, whatever discussed so far, can be done for any Asian natives for sure. All these are very generic remedies, very easy things to build up on. Definitely consider all that. And then Shani mantra, the Om Sham Shan Shiraya mantra, which you shared before, can be done for these natives. It's really excellent thing. Shani on the Lagna does bring in focus on health no matter what. And usually I've seen most of the time they start doing yoga actually.
Huh.
They start doing yoga. They pick up on yoga out of nowhere. They start doing touch. These are natives who really have to focus on their health in a big way. Shani on the Lagna. Now, around the 12th house, you are finally realizing that you need to focus on your health. And the moment you start doing yoga, a lot of things calm down. The moment you are actually engaged in meditation, a lot of things improve. So that's a real thing here also. Around 12th house, excellent for exploring spiritual practices as well. So that is also something that would come about right now. You might study Jyotish or something. That kind of thing would also play out much more easily. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, y'all. So if you want to book a reading with Dr. Santhip Kanholy, here is his email address. And I live here in Bloomington, Indiana. I am available at the Fountain Square Mall. Um, and you can see me in person. You can book your readings here. Or if you just want to do it online, we can do that as well. And then sign up for my free monthly newsletter. And my all of my articles are on the website. Um, and then this is basically how I compiled my information together. Anything else
Yeah.
you'd like
So
to
great.
say before we end?
Yeah, great. I think Katya, you gave a conference also, right? So you gave some conference presentation, Arsha thing also, right? You could mention that what people could get that also. Be good thing for people to know about actually.
Yeah, so it was the March 2025 Arsha Jyotish conference that Meenakshi puts on a couple times a year. And I just did a workshop on case studies and how, I use tarot and psychic mediumship along with Vedic astrology with my clients. So if you're interested in that presentation, you can head on over to arshajyotish.com, and she now has all of the workshops up online, so you can just purchase, the package or individually or whatever. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah, that's great, Katya. So yeah, this is a good presentation actually. A lot of information here. So it'll be very interesting to see how it all plans out actually. So I'm sure this will be a lot of good things are going to happen this year. So this will be interesting time period for sure. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me
great.
for this. And, if you have any questions, just send us a message. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.